It's alive. Good morning. Good morning. Still trying to figure stuff out. How you doing? This morning's coffee comes to you from Creed again in Selbridge and also in Pearse Street if you're Dublin direction. Oof, there's some strings for you. How's everybody doing? Good. I'm still trying to figure out some live streamy stuff. I think I need some background music. I need a little session to improve my live stream. Some recommendations are always welcome. If you are a live streamer, I don't know, is that what you call yourself, a streamer? If you are somebody that live streams on the regular, what are some top tips for people who are getting into live streams, to not make them boring and to make them cool, and to not just feel like you're sitting in a room talking to yourself, which is often the case. But here we are again, Friday, 10 a.m, drinking some coffee, doing some composery stuff. And today, actually, before I get into the Logic session, today I am going to have a little look at the Orchestral Tools Berlin Orchestra, which is a new free orchestra. But I will get the link for you now and put it in the chat. Totally free. So it's to kind of rival Spitfire Audio's BBC Discover. So there it is in the chat. And you can go download it. And what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to have a little mess around and I'm going to make a template. I have no idea how this sounds. I'm probably not going to write a whole lot with it today, but I'm just going to have a little mess around and see what's on offer and see what's available from this library. So let's jump into Logic. So empty template, and here it is, the interface. So you download this Sign player, which is kind of Orchestral Tools' own app or plugin to play their samples. So I just started on the first. Hope you can hear that all right. This is another thing that I need to figure out about the live stream is if you can hear what's coming out of Logic. Logic is the DAW here, by the way, in case you're wondering. So yeah, here it is. I should do this on the actual screen. Yeah, Sign player, and in it is the Berlin Free Orchestra. And we'll look into the articulations of all this. So we've got our families, we've got strings. We have ensemble strings, violins. Okay, so four techniques, which is good. I think maybe slightly more than they give you in Spitfire, BBC Discover. Let's have a little compare and contrast, shall we? So BBC Symphony Orchestra from Spitfire Audio is their free thing, and that looks like this. I have to say, their plugin looks much nicer though, doesn't it? It's so colourful, and you know, even I can see those colours. Let me just move this to the side here. Okay, so you do get the same. You get longs, shorts, pits, and trems. Which violins? See, violins, violas, cello, basses, solo violin. Okay, so they have solo instruments as well, which that's interesting. You don't get that with with Spitfire. Spitfire is all ensemble instruments. And do we get anything extra? There's a harp, which I'm not sure if there's a harp here. Maybe in the tuned percussion. No. Oh, harp and celeste. Yeah, they do. This isn't really a compare and contrast video. This is just me having a quick look. If you've just arrived, come and say hello on the chat, and tell me what your thoughts are. Anyway, we're not going to spend loads of time messing around with BBC Symphony. So these are the two free orchestral libraries, and yeah, BBC is pretty good. I think once you get a proper orchestral library, you move on from it pretty quickly. But to get you started, it's a great place to start, and it's free. I mean, why not get it? I find it difficult to mix with other sample libraries because it's very distinctive. The sound of it is very distinctive. So maybe the Berlin one will be more of its own thing. Who knows? Yeah, so let's build a little template. We'll build a full orchestral template if we have time allowing. And we'll start with the violins. Now, I might build a bit of a different template this time. Okay, so we've ensemble, maybe ensemble and solo or something like that, just to do it. So as always, it's best to have double up on your individual instruments so you can account for the different techniques. So we'll have a long and a short. So I'm going to go with the ensemble, and I'm also going to go with the solos. And there's only solo violin and solo cello, so violas will be an ensemble group as well, I'm guessing. And we'll just do maybe three of the techniques that work for everybody. Okay, so strings ensemble patch, yeah. Oh, something happened there. I turned on the why is it not letting me rename you? Come on. Oh, computer says no. This is a common theme of my live stream, actually, if there is any common themes. Why am I not able to rename these channels? That's interesting, isn't it? Can I rename them here? No. That's so weird. Is this an orchestral tools thing? If I change it to another plugin, is that going to let me rename it? Or is it just some setting in Logic that's not liking me today? There you go. Look at that. This is the joy of live streaming in front of people, where you make all your mistakes in public. That's my new philosophy. Excuse me. Yeah, I have no idea why it's not letting me rename. Ah, there we go. And then just like that, it works. Glitch in the matrix, so the red cat. Oh, we can't talk about the matrix now because it's all topical and stuff. Yes, string ensemble. Speaking of which, did you watch Adolescence? It is a great show. Congratulations to all involved. So string ensemble, whoops, string ensemble longs. And they're going to be I'm not liking the way this disappears every time you want to go into it. That's not. And let's plug in our MIDI controller. Because what is a sample library without a MIDI controller? It is like a cat with no fur. The one I'm using, if you can see this is an Intec MIDI controller. Intec Studios. I'll put a link up. I found it really, really good. I'm not as nerdy about them as they are over at Crow Hill, and they have a whole video of on MIDI controllers and the ins and outs of them and why they're cool and why you should always use them. Yeah, the one I got is. So let's see over here if you can see where my mouse is going. I don't know if that's popping up. It's behind my head, you see. So I need to move this out from behind my head. See, this is another thing. You have to keep an eye on your live stream. You know what's happening. So we've round robins, I guess. Dynamics. Oh, a bit of EQing envelope and legato. So this seems to work a little different from. Okay, volume mode, sustain, yeah. This is weird. So it's dynamic. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on with this. This is more look at guy being confused with his computer. That's what I should rename the live stream as. Man gets confused with computer. And in front of people. Okay, and so we have our loaded articulations, Berlin Orchestra sustains. We've got a mixer in here. That's kind of cool. So, yeah. Is this like all one instance? Okay, CC1. Yeah, this is interesting. Now, I'm a bit confused as to where my articulations and my dynamics are located here. This is a MIDI thing, and sometimes MIDI is your best friend, and sometimes it's like, how does this work again? And I know all the actual producers are just shouting at me, wondering why I'm so useless. I have asked this question of myself many times, many times. I don't know. I can't answer it. So I can't seem to learn the dynamic. Is this it? Does mod wheel work? So it's doing a little something there on the top, isn't it? The vibratos. Anyway, this is not to worry. You don't want to watch me wondering where the dynamics are. So string ensemble longs. Let's just do this super quick. String ensemble shorts. And you're not loading. There we go. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? I quite like that actually, yeah. Sounds very nice. I could see myself using that. Loaded articulations. Anyway, stop trying to figure it out in front of people. Okay, so longs and shorts, and then we don't want the BBC Symphony, we want orchestral tools. And we said we're going to build solo violin. Let's see how this sounds. Not terrible, is it? We got a little bit of legato in it too, which is nice. So, solo violin legato. I can definitely see the solo violin cropping up in other templates that I've made with other libraries, because it's quite. Sometimes you get really bad spelling. Sometimes you get a really harsh kind of sound from sample library solo violins. But that's quite mellow. I quite like that. Just need to figure out how to do my my modulations, and then it'll be all good. So I'm just going to duplicate that track and make it a shorts. I'm not quite sure why this keeps popping up here in the loaded articulations, but you know, that's why. That doesn't sound staccato. So I feel like I've loaded loads of stuff in here. Huh. I don't know what's happening. What is happening? Still sounds like the longs to me. Ah, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. There's nothing loaded in shorts. There we go. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I'm quite liking that solo violin. That's pretty cool. So let's keep moving. And I'm going to keep this quite simple. If I use this template later on, I might come back and add more articulation, but I just really want to get a feel for what's available on this. And you should definitely go and download it. Orchestral tools, Berlin Orchestra. I'm going to add some violas, some long violas. Yeah, they're sounding pretty nice. I'm quite liking the strings. you know, as samples go. And considering it's free, that's unreal. So let's make some shorts as well. So what are you working on? Hit me up in the chat, because if I don't see it now, I'll see it later on, and I want to hear about it. Violas and spit. Turn off you. These sound the same. So I'm doing something wrong. I'm not loading this properly for some reason. Mental note. Read the instructions. There we go. So I'm wondering, am I doing this wrong? Does this mean that it's adding all these as instances of on the one, is that triggering loads of different things? It sounds like there's loads of stuff going on there. So how do you undo? Okay, so get rid of all the articulations and just do spiccatos. Okay, I'm with you. I get it now. It's not the most intuitive, but then I should probably have read the instructions. But I think this is a really useful thing, because this is what happens when you open up unfamiliar interfaces, and you're like, oh, what goes where, and it can really, really slow you down, and it shows the importance of templates. If you have a template and it's all ready to go, you can just start composing, and it's, you don't have to worry about how do I assign CC values and how do I make sure that it's not firing more samples than I need. So I'm going to have to go back into my other tracks now and fix these. I won't do it now because I value your time. And so CC values. So transpose, duplicate, use key switches. That's just transposition. I'm still not 100% sure where the modulations are. This is the round robins. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure how to assign my dynamics and yeah, dynamics and articulation. Yeah, orchestral tools. You need to help me out. Although you probably get onto me and go, it's so obvious. Why didn't you just see it? And I don't know. I don't know is the answer to that. Anyway, I think I've figured out how to change the sounds. So where are we? I digress. Where are we now? We're into cellos. So there is a solo cello here, I believe. And we need to clear this one. That's quite annoying, actually, to make new tracks. And let's do our legato. There it comes. So it can do double stops, which is nice. And triple stops. Yeah, this is quite nice. How's its low end? Quite deep, yeah. I really want to know where I really want to be able to use my MIDI controller with it, and I'm not sure how to assign it. So this is a bugbear, but you know, we'll live with it, I suppose. Violas, that's actually a cello now, and it's the long cello. Solo cello. Long. And we're going to do the solo cello shorts now. So do I have to clear this every time? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what's happening here. So if anyone has answers, please let me know. I'm going to do the shorts. There we go. There we go. That's quite nice. Yeah, that sounds very real. Quite cool. I could see myself using these strings for sure. Good job, orchestral tools. And let's check out the basses, see what's happening there. I'm just flying through this as a demonstration, you know, so you will have much more time. And spend the time because it's free, you know what I mean? So we'll do our longs. Ooh. Yeah, they're sounding okay, I guess. Sound like basses. Bass longs. Bass. Spitz. Spitz. They're quite good, aren't they? So let's come back in here, and all I want is a string ensemble. So I'm going to clear this. I think I'm getting the gist of it now. See, I just want one instance of the samples firing, not several instances. See, I have all these things here. I've entered it in 3 times, but I only want it once. So I'm assuming that's doubling up and trebling up. No pun intended. Solo violin. Okay. Legato. Very nice. And shorts. Shorts. Yeah, look at all these instances I've after throwing in there. I don't know if that's making a difference or not. It sounded to me like it was just stacking up. So this is solo violins and it's shorts. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And just for expediency, I'm going to put that into a summing stack and have it as my strings. So the idea behind this as a template is you open it up and all the instruments are preloaded. So you have everything ready to compose with. And the more templates you have, the better, I think. You can have like your personal template and you can have your orchestral template and you can have your new project crazy sounds template and you can have your spooky sound design templates. You know, I could nerd out on templates for sure. Okay, let's see what they have after the strings. Let's see. No, it's not you, Spitfire. And spot the habitual Logic user. It just goes to the same things over and over again. The woodwinds. So we've got ensemble, then we've got solo piccolo, solo flute, solo oboe, solo English horn, solo. Oh, they're all solos. That is pretty cool. So this is interesting. This is where it's separate from Spitfire in that it has its own kind of thing. It's got its solo things. I always think it's hard to make a piccolo sound cool. And I'm never able to play the piano fast enough to what you want to do on a piccolo. It's like, that bothers me. Anyway, sharing too much information here. Piccolo, long. Shorts. Okay, yeah. Let's go with some shorts. I always think of that show Little Britain when I think of a piccolo. I think it's always a sign as well of a good orchestral library or a good sample library in general when you're playing around with it and it suddenly starts to spark a bit of creativity and you're like, oh, I want to start writing with this now. You know, the stuff just starts firing. It's great. Very nice. Let's move on. I think after this, oops, see here, yeah. I'm very curious about how many of these are loading and how to find your modulation and yeah, sounds quite nice. Flutes. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, Logic is not liking me today. These are longs. And shorts. And where are you? Solo flute. Then cool. Okay, to save your ears, I'm going to change things up a little bit. So, if this was actually a video, I would just fast forward this bit and I'd just add the oboe. What's the English horn sound like? I'm curious. I'll continue on with these, but I do want to see kind of what else is available. If they have any kind of unusual kind of sounds, or is it all very straight up? So let's jump into some of the percussion. They seem to have a good mix of percussion. And I also wanted to check out the harp. So let's do that now. Again, stop doing that. I know I'm jumping around the place, and I will put these into score order at some point. But I'm just kind of playing around with it and seeing what it's like at the moment. Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? Nice harp. And should name you as such. Okay, and yes, next up we want to look at some of this percussion. See what's available there. So far, so good. I cannot believe this is free. This is free. So if you ever want to do some orchestral writing, this is the place to start. So let's hear how their drums are. No, because I've still loaded the previous thing, which is quite annoying. Nice snares. Whoops. I'm liking the snare a lot. So hard to roll. Okay, I'm just gonna flick through these. So unpitched metals. So chinas and gongs and nothing on them. Okay. Fairly straightforward. Nothing to write home about there. Percussion, shakers, tambourines. Wood blocks, nice. Very cool. Timpani. I always find it difficult to write for timpani. I think they just have such a... And they occupy such an unusual space in the frequency range. I think, you know, they don't know whether they want to be an instrument or a drum. And when it's played really well, it's amazing. But I think my brain doesn't understand how they work. That is not a diss on timpani or anybody who plays timpani. You are amazing people and misunderstood. As is any percussionist who hits things for a living. That's the first dud for me. Everything else I've quite enjoyed. I know I will never ever recall this again. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Sometimes things don't hit you, and the sound is like, yeah, I'm not gonna use that. Bells, glocks, anything that sounds like bells always have a difficult time in film scoring. I think because people just think it's Christmas. And yeah, for me, you know, again, it sounds like I'm down on percussionists, but I could say equally the similar things about woodwinds. Brass and strings will always get a free pass, really, because so we're into vibraphone. Dangerously near elevator territory. Dare I say it? I said it. I know. Marimba, same thing. It's fine. I mean, sounds like a marimba. Xylophone. Yeah. What was that Hans Zimmer one? Yeah. I mean, use cases for it all. For me, yeah, percussion, I think I would travel further afield for percussion. What have we got? Loads of solo instruments. This is fantastic. And let's have a listen to the solo trumpet. Oops. That is a high C for a trumpet, that is. That is so well played, whoever played that. I do love a dissonant trumpet. And polyphonic, which is nice. So as a solo trumpet, obviously you can't play two notes, but it can here. There is nothing more dissonant than dissonant brass. It's so, yeah, makes you feel so bad in a good way. Yeah, ooh. Yeah, not liking the low end of the solo trumpet so much. Then again, it's not supposed to be down there really. Okay. Just do a couple more. French horn. This one says that we have it here, but we don't. That's our lowest down there. Sounds quite nice. I'm digging that, yeah. I could be on board with that. Trombone. And tuba. So quite nice. All in all, I am really digging the fact that it has solo instruments. That's a real bonus. You don't normally get solo instruments on big orchestral libraries. Even the more expensive ones don't have solo. Usually everything is ensemble based. So that is a big plus. Well done. Orchestral tools, yeah. Big shout out. A whole free orchestra. I mean, that's pretty generous, isn't it? And the same, yeah, to rival BBC Discovery. So if you're starting out, if this is your first foray into orchestral programming or, film scores and stuff, get these two libraries. I mean, they're free. You can use them right now for free. And they sound good too. They're not bad. There was a few that I probably won't use, but that's more on personal preference than the actual sound of them. That's just so if you hear me giving out about things, it's personal preference. It's not because they're doing anything bad. The only thing I would suggest is maybe have a look at the player, the sign player, and lay it out a little bit more instinctively, because here I'm unsure with the loaded articulations is there multi instances of this? So is this stacking up articulations? Can I just stack up a load of stuff and make ensemble group after ensemble group? Is that the plan? Is that what's intended? So right now we have brass ensemble playing sustains, brass ensemble playing staccato, and trumpets playing sustains. So you build your own ensembles. Is that correct? So yeah, if anyone from Orchestral Tools watches this, let me know. I would love to know. And also, how do you MIDI CC? How do you learn the articulations and the dynamics for each sample? I'm curious, because I don't know, and it doesn't feel particularly clear here. Yeah, so maybe I've learned it. Have I? No. When I say learned, it's you turn on your MIDI. You can assign certain parameters from what you want to do to a MIDI controller. That's when I say learn. That's what I mean. So yeah, I'm curious, where is my articulation? Am I missing a page, or I'm just not seeing it? Is it something to do with this? It could be like, here's the controller map. So is this it? So we're on harp now. Okay, I think I've got it. Right, so this is our dynamic. Okay. So, and expression. I'm going to learn that. Here it is. So this, we should have dynamics and expression now. Yeah, okay, I'm with you. So here it should be the harp as well. So I don't know why that went back to brass. So a little bit of figuring out, but got there in the end, thankfully. Let's try that again. You probably can't hear the dynamic, especially if you're listening on your phone or on a computer. You probably really need headphones for that. Okay, so it's in options. Here's your controller map, and just hit learn on your dynamics and your expression, or whatever you want to do. If you want to do sustain, let's not let me learn it there anyway. I digress. Key switches, okay. And then you have your key switches then on the bottom, which are, instead of using a MIDI controller, you can change articulations and variations using the bottom, the low keys on your keyboard. See here is C0, so it'll be like the first C, the first instance of C. Anyway, you can get into key switches and stuff yourself later on. But I think that makes it a little bit more sense now. And here's our mixer, which is very nice. It's very nice to have a mixer. So presumably this is when you make one instance and add other elements to it. So we have a harp, and then I'll throw in a solo cello, and I'll throw in let's throw in a sustained viola as well. So this should have a harp, a cello, and a viola all playing at once. No. So that's not what's happening here. Okay, let's try sustained viola. Okay. That is super sustained. Okay, I did learn my articulations, which is nice. Okay, let's try and add something else to it. I hope you can follow my kind of logic here. Sustain pedal. Yeah, okay. This is... I'm going to have to pick a different track. Okay, so this is one that doesn't have dynamics. So we have a harp, and if I'm right, then we can add trumpet. No. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes me unclear. I would have thought you're kind of building an ensemble patch with your samples here. This could be totally wrong. I don't know. Anyway, to be continued, get yourself orchestral tools and get the Berlin library and start messing around with them. I recommend, if you have a project or something coming up, do all this template prep work beforehand. Have a session where you just go in and play around with it, make yourself a template, and it doesn't have to be a completed template. You can come back and you can add instruments, you can take instruments away. That is the point of this. It's a dynamic thing. It moves, it shifts in time. Anyway, if you have enjoyed that, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, especially. I see some people have dipped in and out of some of these live streams, and I would love to hear from you. There is also a link to get the orchestral tools, Berlin Orchestra. It's not from me, I'm not sponsored. I just found it and thought it was cool and thought it'd be worth having a look. So thank you very much for hanging out, and I will catch you next week. If you do have anything you want to go over, or anything that is, composer related, film music related, templates, logic, I'd love to hear from you. Even if it's something I don't know, I am happy to jump on here and give it a go and see what we can figure out together. Talk to you soon. Bye.